I've got the looks and the charm of an old movie star. Cary Grant, if you will, so I find it bizarre that this girl should refuse to step into my car. She must be shy, she'll come around, it's just a matter of time. Aurora, Aurora.
Hey there, Screens, and welcome to Screen Snark, a podcast that celebrates all of the shows that are in our eyes, on our minds, and in our hearts. I am Rachel Quirky Shank.
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
Feel really good about that one. That
Yeah.
one came out like really
It flowed really well.
It was like a river.
Like a professional.
It's like I only had to think about it for like 2 seconds versus the usual 30 where I swear and then talk.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
that felt really good.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You've
Thank
done
you,
well.
listener.
The listeners, I'm sure, are very proud of you, too.
Yeah, you know.
At least Rob Strobin is.
Yeah,
because
thank
he
you,
always
Rob.
talks in Discord.
Our,
So
our,
definitely.
our episode Loris.
Our episode Loris, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Our guest this week is the incredible Raina Sinclair.
Welcome.
Hello.
My co-producer at Magical Girl Burlesque and a burlesque badass in her own right.
And a constant pain in your ass.
I mean, yes. What else are annoying little sisters for?
Yes, and a constant delight to me. So.
Well, yeah. So, because she likes you more. Aww.
Friendship.
And before the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about what Raina's been up to, some burlesque stuff that we're both involved in, as well as just, a little bit about her to get to know her.
Yeah.
But, of course, as always, we will start with the things we've been watching most recently.
Yes, Matt, what have you watched most recently? I'm already dying.
I know.
I'm going to say
you
words.
can't see it, listener, but it's all over Rachel's
already-
face, what she watched,
I'm
even though I
chomping
don't know.
at the bit for my turn. I'm usually very engaged and excited to discuss things. I'm just ready for Matt to be done because I am going to say words and I'm not proud of them. Okay, go ahead. Now you'll listen to at least all
Mine.
of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
they may skip ahead to you. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
only 20 minutes
it's
left,
actually
probably.
fortuitous that Raina's on this week's episode because I watched an anime.
Yay!
And I haven't watched the new
Oh my
anime.
god!
I know, it's been a while. I'm an old school anime fan, and I grew up watching a ton of stuff, starting on Adult Swim and then seeking out stuff on my own. Besides, of course, Dragon Ball Z, which was fucking everywhere when I was a kid. But Netflix released a brand new anime that actually I think Chuck Collins, previous guest of this podcast, has a connection to one of the co-creators.
Cool.
Because he did fan art of one of the characters from the show and the bouncer, which is Chuck's thing that we've talked about.
Which is wonderful. Go check it out.
Yes, but the show is called Seis Manos, and I like to describe it as if Jackie Chan Adventures was darker and was in Mexico.
Ooh.
The basic premise is 3 orphans are raised by a Chinese sensei in a small town, and shit gets weird pretty quick.
Sounds like an anime.
Yes.
Sounds about right.
The lead villain, named El Baldi, who, believe it or not, is bald. Shocker. Is voiced by Danny Trejo, and he is fucking phenomenal.
Very good.
But it's really good. It gave me, the animation style reminds me a lot of Jackie Chan Adventures, a lot of hard edges, but, really fluid movement, really cinematic framing of battles and stuff, and it was just really good. And so, of course, I watched the first episode based on seeing it in Chuck's feed. Next thing I knew, 8 hours later, I'd watched the entire first season. I just blew through it. It was really great. What's his name who played Luke Cage? I'm blanking on his name now.
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter plays
Nice one.
Friend of my other podcast.
right. He plays a character on the show, and he's really great. He's stereotypical black FBI agent, kind of in over his head, and doesn't believe all the hooey voodoo that's going on.
Utterly perfect. Mike Coulter.
Utterly perfect Mike Coulter. But the show is really great. The voice acting is phenomenal. The character development is really great. They are not afraid to kill people. They're not afraid to drop some real shit on you. But they still find it does something that probably Raina can speak to a lot. She's watched probably more anime than I have at this point. It does the thing that a lot of anime does, where it has a heart underneath, a super serious main story, but they still find comedy even between the really dark parts. And I really like that about this show. And some of my favorite animes are that. I think about a lot the final season of Trigun, the final 4 episodes of Trigun, where it goes really sharply from being super funny and constant comedy to shit got real, everyone's gonna die.
Yeah.
And I thought of you because you watch a lot of anime that you would probably really dig this show if you haven't seen it already.
I have not seen it. I have a Crunchyroll account.
Okay.
And all the new fall anime has come out. So I'm watching like 6 new things.
Nice. Well, you'll have to pick one to talk about in a little bit, but it's like
hard.
Sophie's choice. I know it's rough.
Can I do two things? Can I do 2 things?
Yes, you can do 2 things.
I'll do a Western thing and I'll do an anime thing.
I love it.
Done.
So it's been so long since I watched any of the Jackie Chan adventures. But I can imagine that anime style, which probably is very charming to behold. But like, characters die in this?
So yeah, this show, I wouldn't say, so it's tough. I don't want to give spoilers, but there are harsh moments in this 8-episode anime that make you confront things that you didn't think they were going to do in such a short period of time. You know, conflicts that come up. It's because it also doesn't seem like it's going to, like, it starts very, there's some supernatural shit going on, but then they kind of tuck that away for a half an episode or 2 episodes, and then they come back to it, and then shit's off the rails, and there's supernatural shit everywhere.
Oh, weird.
But it's in a
so it's not as like dark and deadly as like what's that one where there's the giant people that eat the people and they're in the walls.
Oh, Attack on Titan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That one.
I
smacking my own face trying to think about it.
So I haven't watched.
Raina.
I haven't watched Attack on Titan, but
It's a labor.
I don't think it's as serious as that. I think there are still a lot of light moments, and also the characters are just really well written. One of the characters' name is Silencio, and this isn't a spoiler because it comes up in the very first episode. But his name is Silencio because when he was a kid, he saw his parents killed, and the person who killed them ripped out his tongue.
Yikes.
Okay.
And so, like...
Sounds like some anime.
That sounds
like
bullshit.
What's really interesting about Silencio's character is that he's drawn so expressively that even though he cannot talk, you always know what he's thinking, and it's done really well. And the way they approach the supernatural stuff is it's very... If it were the real world and suddenly there were supernatural stuff, people would act weirded out and freaked out. Like, you know, we read a lot of comic books in the modern day, but like if some of that shit were real, we'd be kind of
like
bonkers.
Losing our minds.
And so it does that a little bit with it, which I really like. One of the co-creators has retweeted me several times on Twitter. I was
friend of the podcast.
Friend of the podcast. But it's funny because I was only hashtagging it because I don't think there's an official like Twitter account for it. So that was really sweet, and like I've followed his Twitter since, and he's getting a lot of love, which is really great. I unfortunately can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I really dig it. It's one of those things where I haven't watched a lot of narrative shows where I get sucked in. Yeah. Like pretty much besides The Good Place and anything else Mike Schur makes, I've not really been following a lot of TV. And especially on Netflix, I felt overwhelmed by the choices. Yeah. And so it was nice to like, this was a recommendation from Chuck because it was in his feed. And I was like, well, if Chuck Collins likes this, it must be good. Yeah. And I was super happy with it. So if you're a fan of anime, or if just the idea of like a more adult Jackie Chan Adventures sounds really interesting. And the reason I bring up Jackie Chan Adventures is also because like it was a lot of fight choreography in animation. And like anime does that often. But like the cinematography of the fighting in this show, while it's supernatural, never felt... Like, it still felt somewhat grounded in reality, which gave it a weight that I don't think a lot of other... Like, you know, I love Dragon Ball Z, but that is not a show that we go for weight and poise. Like,
that is shonen bullshit.
Right. And I
love it.
And I like a fair amount of shonen bullshit, but, like, the animes I tend to like more are Cowboy Bebop and Trigun and Outlaw Star. Stuff that's still super fantastical, but still grounded in a weight of reality with real bullshit. Yeah. Instead of super...
You will definitely like my recommendation.
Okay, excellent.
So... I wonder if you would like Assassination Classroom.
Oh... That's good.
I love it. It's light
ridiculous.
And fluffy, but it's like ridiculous, but it makes you cry at the end.
Interesting.
I haven't seen
I finished it and I wept. I wept like
I always get through the first 7 episodes and then I just forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a ton of emotional moments in Seis Manos that were really great. Like, I think what was really interesting to me about this show and why I highly recommend it, besides the fact that I binged it in a day, which I never do, is it felt... there was a caliber of writing in it that I really enjoyed. there's a lot of anime that I've seen, and again, I haven't watched a lot of recent stuff, but in my experience, the stuff I've seen, some of the writing is campy or predictable, and what I like about this show, and I'm sure there's tons of modern anime that do this too, it just felt real, and the people felt real. It didn't feel like I was watching these fantasy characters, and there's nothing wrong with shows like that, but I was looking for something more grounded that felt like film, felt like cinema, if we're gonna get pretentious.
Boy, howdy. It's would you dare say it is elevated anime?
You couldn't even get that one out.
I hated it.
I have so many feelings about that phrase.
Oh,
It's
I have
awful.
so
many feelings.
I have so many feelings about putting the phrase elevated on top of anything. Where it's just like, this is elevated horror, and it's like, so it's a horror movie.
Yeah, shut up.
That you like, and
Yeah.
you want to hold that to a standard that means you're better.
It's the same thing with literary fiction.
Yeah.
What the fuck does literary fiction mean? Nothing. It's just usually that a pretentious, fancy dead dude wrote it.
Yeah. And so, like, my big pitch for it is just that it's really well written, it's really well shot, as it were. Because, like, it's funny, we're in a world now where talking about video games and cartoons, you can use cinematography. I mean, there is cinematography, but it's drawn or created. But still, the way scenes are framed in this show just feels so epic.
I love it.
And it also reminds me of, like, your favorite kung fu movies of the past, too.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
it has a ton of that vibe, too. Like, their sensei who raised them, like, is super, like, old school, like, cliche sensei stuff, like speaking in short phrases and making it's really well done. I highly recommend
and
it.
throwing things at them.
He's kind. He's a kind sensei.
Oh, okay, cool.
He
So
doesn't beat the shit out of them.
So
No.
he's not teacher from
I mean, he will
Full
fight
Metal
them and
Alchemist.
defeat them and beat them up, but he's not. It's more, a kind of like fatherly figure, because they're all orphans and they look up to him.
Aw,
But
that's
it's
sweet.
really well done.
I love it.
So Seis Manos, definitely go check it out on
Seis
Netflix.
Manos.
All 8 episodes of the first season. It's a
Cool.
quick watch. It's
Seems
really awesome.
easy.
Yeah, I highly recommend.
So, Matt, if you could describe Seis Manos in 3 words, how would you do it?
You'd think I'd be prepared.
You think after, what, 30 episodes?
30 episodes. This will be 31.
31
Episode
episodes.
31. I would say
He's doing great, folks.
yeah, no, I thought I could narrow it down.
I'm gonna write down my 3.
Okay.
It's amazing. Raina is writing down her 3 words in
I have to
advance.
think about this.
And no one else in
Has
the history
ever-
of this
I
podcast
thought to do that.
has ever done that.
I think I'd say Seis Manos Excelente.
Seis Manos Excelente.
There you go.
He put the title in it. And I
I
feel like
did.
that's cheating, but it's fine.
That's fine.
I did say Wolfman's got nards for Monster Squad, and that's
Yeah.
a line from the show and describes nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's good. The show, it's good.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
show, good.
Yeah, definitely go check it out. And thank you, Chuck Collins, for
All right.
bringing it to my attention.
I love it. I think that's a really good jumping off point to get to what I have brought, which I have
Which
not
you've
told
been grinning about
in
since you walked
advance
into my apartment.
to anyone, because I'm ready to like back out from it at any one second.
Does it involve tentacles?
No, it no, it
Because
doesn't.
you had to think.
I had to think about it because I was like, wait. What are the characters that you see? So I've been on vacation for the past week, with a few more days to go.
Anyone who is listening to the Infinity Pod can follow the trajectory
Jeez,
of the
it's
continuity
crazy.
of the Rachelverse.
And I've been looking for things to consume that aren't too taxing on the mind
Sure.
or puzzling to the will. And because of a couple conversations that I've had with the Infinity Podcast, Scott Thomas, friend of this podcast,
Yep.
soon to be guest one day, I decided to deep dive into a reality competition show that is so bad that it is weirdly wonderful, and I'm so embarrassed that I've gone from no episodes of this to having watched every single episode in about 2 days. I'm talking about The Masked Singer, baby!
What?
The Masked Singer!
What is this?
Okay, here I go. So, Masked Singer is another reality show that's been pulled from from across the pond. The Eastern culture came up with this idea.
Yeah.
But the U.S. started season 1 last year or earlier this year. And the premise is celebrities from all walks of life are in a singing competition, but you will not know who they are because they are in elaborate costumes. And I'm not kidding. Nobody knows who these celebrities are. Not the dancers who are on the backup, not the judges, not the host, not the other it's like watching this show and watching the behind the scenes of how they keep these identities secret is worth watching.
Okay.
Okay, so the way it works is you, like in season 1 you had 12 competitors. And they were in these crazy costumes. So you had like the poodle, the hippo, the monster, and like they're really good costumes, like full body, gloves, everything. And like they come out and they sing a piece. The judges like talk about their song and like if it was good or not, and then they try and guess who the celebrity is under this mask. And okay, I know this sounds awesome and like holy shit, love it, but I just want you to understand the politics of this show real fast, because there's 4 judges, and one is a former Pussycat Doll, one is Dr. Ken Jeong, and one is piece of shit Robin Thicke.
Oh God.
And living ghoul Jenny McCarthy.
Oh God.
So I watched this with white knuckle terror, because if they've already put Jenny McCarthy and Robin Thicke at the masthead of this, like the production company just went, you know who'd be great? These horrible human beings who are just terrible. I was scared every moment that they were going to pull a mask away and it was going to be like goddamn Ben Shapiro or something.
Oh,
But luckily, it was not that bad. Season 1 was pretty tame. Like, the politics of the competitors was actually pretty good, and I was really excited to see some of them revealed.
Did anyone guess them right?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
There's a couple that get guessed right.
Interesting.
And that's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, when somebody gets it right, there's one episode where Ken Jeong gets it right, and he got it so wrong the episode before that he comes onto the episode where he, like, after he got it right, in, like, a crown, and he's like, I am the king of the masked singer. I am, like, Ken Jeong is
I mean, I love Ken
I
Jeong.
do not know who this person is.
He played Senior Chang in Community. He
Okay.
Was,
Yeah.
He was
He's
on The
in The
Hangover.
Hangover.
Yes,
Very,
that
very,
guy.
very,
He's the
very,
best.
very
That guy.
funny guy.
I haven't watched his new sitcom yet, where
I
he's
haven't
actually
either.
playing a doctor. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Dr.
Is it
Ken.
It's Dr. Ken.
It's
yeah.
Dr. Ken.
I want to see it.
And they keep calling him Dr. Ken until he gets it right. And then Nick Cannon, who's the host.
Oh man, blast
Yeah.
from
You
the
just
past.
made it work.
It's real bad.
You made it
Who cannot stop making jokes about his exes. And I'm like, we get it. You fucked a lot of people. It's fine.
Yeah, like let it go.
Haven't we all? Like Ken Jeong refuses to answer to anything other than Dr. Reigning Champion. And it's perfect. But also, like, the singers are really good, and it's I wish that there was less of the panel's interactions with the singers and more of like them talking, because like the way it works is,
Are they all people who are not traditionally famous for singing?
some of them are and some of them aren't,
Okay.
which is very fun and
That's
exciting.
cool.
But like throughout the show, the characters that continue on have sort of like clue packets that they bring to the, so it's like a little video, and so like everyone's got voice modulation,
Right.
and they're like dropping like bizarre hints, you know, trying to like hint at who they are,
Right.
and like some of them are like red herrings and some of them are like true, you know, and so like using the packet and then listening to the singing voice, the panelists try and figure it out. But like there's just a couple of the characters that like you get really invested in.
Sure.
Like there's one who's the monster, and his first clue packet in the first episode is like, some people think I'm a monster and I got into some trouble with the game, so I went to my cave and I like hid out, and you're just like, oh buddy, who are you? And I was like, I hope that's not OJ Simpson. Spoilers, it wasn't, but I feel like that's a spoiler that everyone can be fine with. Trust me, it's not OJ Simpson.
So do they win anything? Or...
They win a trophy, but like at the end of the day, they're still celebrities. Yeah. But yeah, so they like one character gets eliminated at the end of the episode, and they get demasked, and that's very exciting. Even though it's shot ridiculously because they play that last riff of like, "Who are you?" By the Who are you? Like, I want to know. Tell me, who are you? You, and like they zoom in on like panelists' faces, and they zoom in on Nick Cannon, and it's like some bad YouTube bullshit. But I loved it, and I'm in season 2, and I'm already sad that Egg like is gone because I thought Egg was great, but Egg went in the first episode. So spoiler alerts, Egg's gone.
I love how you're spoiling that people are gone, but not saying who they are.
But I'm not going to say who it is.
Yeah.
But, like, I just want you to know. So if you start watching season 2 and you don't get too invested in the Egg, even though I love the Egg. I thought the Egg was great.
Okay.
The Egg ruled. But, yeah, so it's, like, this weird... Like,
and so do you normally watch reality TV?
No, I don't.
Because I don't. Well, that's not true.
The last one I watched was that glass blowing show.
Which
that was
good.
That was good.
It was very good.
Well, and I shouldn't say I don't watch reality TV, but I watch reality TV with kind of a focus. Like I watched MythBusters, and I watched Savage Builds.
But competition shows.
Right, yeah, I don't really watch a ton of competition shows.
Great British Bake Off is the most wholesome thing you will ever watch.
I feel like Masked Singer is the literal antithesis of Great British Bake Off because like it's celebrities, so number one, fuck you. Like for real, like it's not just normal people like baking things together and helping each other out. It is like Secret Service level, like gotta keep this to ourselves. Like okay. In some of the behind the scenes stuff, like you can see them rehearsing or like walking places, and I'm not kidding you. These masked singers are surrounded by guards, and they're wearing this like reflective visor, and they're wearing a t-shirt that says, "Don't talk to me." And anybody who comes to visit them on set, like their agents or whatever, they also have to wear masks. And like these celebrities cannot talk to anyone.
Wow.
And they have a representative that you get to talk to, and they wear a t-shirt in green text that says "Talk to me." So like,
are they all singers or
no? They come from all walks, like sports stars, comedians.
But they're all people who can sing, but not necessarily famous for singing.
But not famous for singing, yeah. But like they're all pretty good.
I mean, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah,
like, I don't mind that. And
yeah.
I know one of the people who got unmasked because I saw it on the internet.
Yeah.
It was a streamer who was on the show.
Oh boy, that's a running joke for the rest of my watch. I'm just gonna be like, oh, it's this person,
right?
Just forever. Like I'm like, no, he just put on another mask.
He just came back.
He just came back. It's fine.
So,
don't freak. That was so stupid when I watched that happen because I was watching it in real time and I was like, no, they can't. And the moment they opened like the YouTube wormhole, I'm just like, what is celebrity anyway?
Yeah.
What is it? Like, what does it mean? Can I be on The Masked Singer? I have a podcast or two. I've got stuff. I just want them to put like one normal person in who's like Doug from accounting on The Masked Singer, and then everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you are obviously Jimmy Buffett." Like,
I'm not.
I love it. I hate it.
I can't watch competition shows. I don't enjoy them. But that said, I won't judge someone who does. Like, watch whatever the fuck you want. Like, whatever gets
do you like sweets? Do you like wholesomeness?
I mean,
do you like people helping each other?
Do you like crying?
Do you like no fielding?
I have heard great things about the Great British Bake Off. I have not yet watched. But that said, like I do watch other like talk shows on Netflix and stuff. So like it like I've been talking off the air a lot. I've been watching Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, like which is a reality show. It's just it's an interview show. So it's whatever you're what you enjoy it. Fuck it. But Rachel Quirky Shank.
Yes.
If you had to describe The Masked Singer without using just the phrase The Masked Singer as your 3-word review, what would it be? There's a hush over the crowd. Rachel starts to think about it. Who could be? What's behind that mask?
You know what? This isn't a spoiler, but this is where my heart is. Monster for Life.
All right.
I loved Monster.
Go Monster.
I loved Monster. Monster is such a good, like, character design and also such a good, like, singer. Like, oh, just listen. If you're gonna do this, just watch it to watch the trajectory of Monster. Because I loved it. I loved it. Also, my boyfriend called Monster right before Monster got revealed, and it blew my mind.
That's awesome. I mean, also, John Henry is very smart.
John Henry is very smart. But yeah, so... Also, like, if you want to, start with season 2. Tweet
There's
with
no
me.
narrative. Yeah, fuck it.
We'll just, like, guess who all the masked singers are, and we'll all pray that it's not Ben Shapiro. Because
God, I hope not.
I think...
Ben Shapiro?
If you don't know, it's probably
it's
better.
fine, it's
He's a
fine.
garbage human. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. But also, Living Ghoul Jenny McCarthy is a host on this.
I don't know a lot of modern day celebrities.
It's okay. It's
fine.
fine.
It's
It's
fine.
probably better.
It's probably
that
better.
way.
All right, well, thank you for that, Rachel.
No
I
worries.
appreciate that divergence.
I regret everything.
Welcome to my life.
Guest Raina Sinclair, thank you for being here. I'm guessing both of your shows are animes.
Well, so I changed my mind because
Okay.
one of the things I was going to talk about...
Because I've now set the bar so very low with the
Well,
Masked Singer.
So one of the things I was going to talk about was Good Omens because I finally got off my ass and started watching it, but I feel like there's so much queer discourse already on that, and I didn't watch the whole thing yet, so like...
And we've talked about it before,
It's
but
fine.
if you once you've watched the whole thing and want to come back and talk about it, we could just do a whole episode about
yeah,
it. Why the hell not?
Why not?
I mean, David Tennant, Michael Sheen, like, are the only reason for it. It's fine.
Ineffable husbands.
Yeah.
Like, who are we kidding?
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
true.
So, yeah. So then I decided to, because you talked about some of the things I loved from my childhood, I had to go in another direction.
Okay.
So, do you want me to talk about the thing from my childhood or the nerdy thing?
Let's go with the nerdy thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk about both.
Well,
But
we'll
what do you
start-
want first?
Let's start with the nerdy thing.
Nerdy.
All right.
thing.
So the nerdy thing is actually a thing that has 3 seasons in a movie already.
Huh.
So you can get pretty deep into it, and I have been telling a lot of people about this show.
Okay.
It's called Bungo Stray Dogs.
Bungo Stray Dogs. Okay.
And this is an anime.
It is an anime. It's
Okay.
on Crunchyroll.
Okay.
Both in sub and dub form.
Okay.
So it's equal
Take your
opportunity.
pick.
Take your pick. Take your pick.
You kinky bastards. Go for it.
Oh, well, tell us about this show and tell
So
us what it's
bungo
about.
in Japanese means literary, so it means literary stray dogs, and it's based off a manga where it's kind of like gang wars, but literary gang wars. So the whole point is that all of the characters are based off of famous authors, like
Okay.
fictional versions of famous Japanese and Western authors.
Okay.
And they all have superpowers based off the books that they wrote.
Huh.
And
So Jane Austen is the super not waifu.
Jane Austen hasn't shown up yet, but the lady that wrote Anne of Green Gables, what's her name? Ella Montgomery showed up. She has a giant Anne doll and her own like little like space pocket where she can trap people. I'm getting ahead of myself. So anyway,
No, you're not. You're doing this perfectly.
This is
so anyway, the main premise is that there are 2 different factions in this fictionalized version of Yokohama, which is a city in Japan. And It's like a port town. So there's the Armed Detective Agency. Well, okay, 3 sides. There's the police. There's the Armed Detective Agency, which is basically like a sort of go-between that like takes on cases that the police don't want to touch and like kind of in a Cowboy Bebop-esque way gets into ridiculous adventures.
Okay.
And then the bad guys are the Port Mafia, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's the mafia that runs Yokohama.
Okay.
And the 2 main characters are Atsushi, who can turn into a tiger by moonlight, who is based... I was going to look up his last name, but my phone is dying. And Dazai, who is kind of sort of his... he finds Atsushi when he's, like, about to, like, try to kill himself and takes him under his wing and has him join the Armed Detective Agency. And Dazai has the power to stop everybody else's superpowers.
Ooh, dampening power. Very
While also
good.
constantly joking about trying to kill himself.
Yikes.
All right.
You know what? Welcome to my spin-off podcast called Splain That Anime. I want to do that, though. I just want everyone to, like, watch an anime and then have to explain it, because it's hard.
So basically, the Armed Detective Agency and the Port Mafia are constantly in an on and off again war against each other, with the police sort of, like, watching from the sidelines. And then, so everybody is based off a famous author.
Okay.
The first season is mostly all Japanese authors because it takes place in Yokohama. But like the fun part is then you can look up the actual authors that they were based off of and what their works were and how they got their superpowers based off their works.
Yeah.
And then in the second season, this American faction called the Guild shows up, which basically wants to take over all of Yokohama, and it's run by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Of course it is.
And his superpower
is he's got a great old...
No.
Nope. Okay.
His superpower is that he literally can turn money into physical strength. So the more money he spends, the stronger he becomes.
Capitalism.
I hate this anime.
It's great.
And
it's great. For somebody that has 2 degrees in writing,
rules.
it makes my nerdy heart happy.
I'm dying.
But
literally dying.
So
I love that. I love that so much.
Fitzgerald is in charge of all like the American people. So like so he is in charge of Lucy.
I wish he ate the money. To be honest,
he doesn't eat the money. I think he's sort of like. I forget exactly.
I bought
how
a Maserati. Now I am the Hulk.
Well, and that's the other thing that's cool is that like it's this weird mixture of like sort of old time, like they don't tell you what time period it is because it's like a fictionalized magical world. So it's like this mixture of like modern day but also old like kind of timiness, like everybody dresses in like suits and like fancier like clothes. And so it's like really fun and whimsical
and
like
crazy.
It.
And
crazy. It's so good. Oh my god. Fucking Lovecraft is in it and literally can turn into Cthulhu. Like he
you know what? I feel like that is a really, really lazy choice on behalf of the writers.
So it's more complicated than that. Like literally he can have like tentacles sprout from his body and then like enshrine him like it's a Gundam. Yeah. And he becomes Gundam Cthulhu.
Okay, I'll take it. I love this show. I love it so much. I would like to take an opportunity to just speak to the audience out in the world. If we can have an anime where H.P. Lovecraft summons a Gundam version of Cthulhu.
Oh,
all of the characters in Fire Emblem 3 Houses can be bisexual. You all can suck it. You truly can suck it.
And his like partner in the field is John Steinbeck, who literally like implants seeds into his body and then like has branches grow from him and uses his psychic powers to control all of the foliage and trees within like a 10-mile radius.
It's truly tiny.
It's great. I'm sorry, it's great.
And it's on Crunchyroll.
It's on Crunchyroll.
Well, I'm gonna have to go home and show this to my dude.
3 seasons and a movie. They're probably gonna come out with more seasons because they have not like come out with the manga is still going. So there probably means there's gonna be more seasons. Yeah. But it is a wonderful ride.
I love it.
And it's really fun because like even if you don't understand all of the references, I think that like it's sort of an adventure and it's one of my words was educational because literally I spent a good portion of time just going on Wikipedia and like Googling these authors and like what they did and how like because they're not like obviously they're not carbon copies of the people they were based on.
Right. It's an elaboration on it.
Yeah, but like it's interesting to sort of see how these authors, how the original creator got this idea and sort of developed that from the historical people.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Yeah.
So, if you had to describe, what was this called again?
Bungo Stray Dogs.
Bungo Stray Dogs.
Yes.
In 3 words, Raina, how would you do that?
Well, I already said educational, so I'd say nerdy and ridiculous.
Educational, nerdy, and ridiculous. I like it. All right, there you go.
Yes.
But none of them are dogs.
Well, so it's kind of the same way in Cowboy Bebop. Like, it's so
Cowboy Bebop has a dog.
Well, no,
But there are no cowboys.
because technically
The
bounty hunters are called cowboys.
Yeah.
So the stray dogs part kind of is like a metaphor for like how they're all sort of like aimless and like came together because like nobody else wants them and they have like
I want all the stray dogs.
superpowers.
I want to cuddle all of
And,
these
like-
authors now.
And like it's the idea of like just sort of having to find your people
Yeah,
and fight for the things you believe in.
I love it.
That's the true anime goal.
Thank you for the anime fist.
I did. I had to.
Believe it.
Look,
So my second thing,
Okay.
Yeah.
because I had another thing. You said I could do two.
Yes.
You can do too.
And this is the nostalgic one. So recently, a thing that I loved in high school, they made they're making a reboot of it, and it's called Fruits Basket.
Oh my god, I've been watching Fruits
I
Basket.
know it's so good. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
We got to comment now. I've been watching 2019 Fruits Basket, and I was thinking about this, and I wanted to ask you if you've been watching the new Fruits Basket.
I watched the
because,
entire first season.
Like, I was gonna be like, do any of them turn into zodiac animals if you hug them? Because I was not ready, but now I'm so ready. I am in the middle of it, so no, like, try to keep it spoiler free.
Okay. So,
But I love it.
so
I love Fruits Basket.
if you didn't understand from Rachel's summary, basically Fruits Basket is about a high school girl who's
Orphan.
Orphan.
I
I was getting to
orphan.
it. Okay, she's a high school orphan whose mom recently died, and she was supposed to be taken in by her grandfather.
Yes.
But her, I guess, her aunt on her father's side
Yeah.
is living with the grandfather and is basically like, well, we're renovating the house and we're going away and we don't want to take you with us, so you're gonna figure out your living situation
Yeah.
until we get back. And so instead of admitting to everybody, hey, I'm homeless, she decides to live in a tent
She
in the
lives in a
woods.
tent in the woods.
And she gets
This is the start of this show. I promise it's very delightful.
and
Homeless
then
girl in a tent in the woods. Orphan homeless guy in
and
a tent.
then she is found by one of her high school classmates.
Yes.
Yuki Soma, who is sort of considered the prince of the high school
Yes.
because he's super
so popular.
He's super cute and
but
super
he's
mysterious.
So distant. And like, wow.
And
wow.
basically, you find out through the course of this show, it isn't really a spoiler because it's the first episode.
Yeah.
But you find out that the Somas, Yuki's family, 13 of them, when hugged by a different gender, turn into animals from the zodiac. Chinese zodiac.
Which is problematic. I get it, but
Yeah.
also makes for fun play in the world because the girl ends up living with
Yes. So
with
they take
the
her
Somas.
in.
3 boys, 1 girl, hijinks.
Well, 2 boys, 1 pervy 27-year-old. That's
Right.
the adult in this situation.
and she cleans for them.
Yeah,
It's an anime.
she's basically their live-in maid.
Yeah.
Not because they make her, but because she's
They're-
literally.
They're so gross. They just live in filth. They're so rich, but they live in filth.
Because they're all super dysfunctional.
I love this show.
Super dysfunctional, super mentally ill, all riddled with PTSD.
Oh, for sure.
And so she's basically like sort of this like not Mary Sue but not, where she's
Yeah.
like, I'm super positive and I just love cooking and cleaning and taking care of people because
Yeah.
that's what I was taught, and so I want to like take care of you guys.
Yeah, it's
And
very sweet.
it's very adorable.
Yeah.
And so it was a manga that got turned into an anime, but the anime only covered the first like major arc
Yeah.
of the manga and then basically ended.
So is this reboot starting from the beginning again?
Yes.
So the
Okay.
reboot is starting from the beginning again. The first season just ended, and they're going to tell the entire story of the manga.
So it's sort of like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, like
Yes,
reapproaching.
except instead they turn into zodiac animals.
Right,
I
yeah.
think we're good with one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Right. It's so good though. I love it.
but yeah,
Oh.
so basically they're they updated the art because the original artist was like,
beautiful.
I did this manga 15 years ago. I want to update the art style, and they got completely new voice actors. And well, for the dub, they have the same people that actually did it like in 2007, which I haven't watched the dub yet, but I feel like that adds a whole other level of emotionality to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the first season just ended like last month, and then the next season is coming out next year.
Ooh, I'm so excited. I've fallen off on watching that Fruits Basket because
it's like, so literally,
good.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to be Toru Honda when I was a teenager because I had dreams of just getting adopted by like people that would love me and like having found family in a weird mansion somewhere in the middle of the woods.
I think the last episode I was on was whenever she tries to go back to her family. And yeah,
that's a super emotional one.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I am going to totally admit my shipper trash heart now.
I ship the two boys. I'm
Well,
sorry.
So
like the cat and the mouse. You kidding? Sparks. Sparks.
I am more partial to the OT3 of it all.
Ooh, good. The very like Gene Scott Logan of it all.
But not a love triangle, just a like.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the new House and Powers of X.
Yes,
and
I know.
They're poly. They haven't said it yet. They're fucking poly.
They got a door between the rooms.
They have rooms that connect.
But like literally, well, because like obviously as most animes do, because they don't believe in alternative relationships, it's a love triangle that ends up not being a love triangle eventually. But like the first season really does make an argument for them being in a V.
Yeah,
it really does. Like literally, I watched the New Year's episode, the one where like they are supposed to go off to like the Soma household, and she's alone by herself for like the first time since her mom died on New Year's, and they come back to the house to be with her because they feel guilty. And I was watching this episode with Betty because I made Betty watch it with me. And she literally was like, "Oh, this is so cute. Now go have a threesome."
Facts.
All right. Well,
Fruits Basket. It's very.
I believe you.
It rules. It truly rules.
Well, Raina Sinclair, if you had to sum up Fruits Baskets in 3 words.
Fruits Basket. There's
Fruits
no
basket.
S at the end.
Fruits,
because
plural fruit.
Because Japanese. Japanese.
Plural fruit.
Fruits.
Single
Fruits
basket.
Fruits Basket.
How would you sum it up in 3 words?
This is why I wrote things down. I would say empathetic because it's very much a character study on very flawed, broken people and how they try to become better.
Okay.
So it's like very much about all the feelings and like what it means to like be a person that connects with other people and like what loss is like and how you survive that, and it just all the feels.
Yeah.
All the feels.
And your other 2 words?
Cute.
Uh-huh.
Because obviously. And nostalgic.
Because it's something you like from your past.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what nostalgia means.
Empathetic, cute,
nostalgic.
nostalgic. I love
Nice.
it.
Awesome.
For it. Fruits
Excellent.
Basket, though.
I'll have to watch it.
It's adorable.
But
I believe
also,
you.
like, don't feel pressured because it is very weird.
I mean,
Because,
it's
like,
anime.
I mean,
Anime is weird.
In comparison to some other animes, like it's quite tame.
Yeah, it's true.
quite tame.
But it also has the premise of there's a zodiac and these family members turn into them, but also the cat is one, but the cat's not part of the zodiac, but there's a guy who turns into the cat and they're like, "We don't like you, cat." And it's like, this is so weird.
Well, because that's part of the original Chinese mythology that the cat got left out of the zodiac because the rat tricked him, which is why the cat and the rat hate each other.
Yeah, but
they're both in love with the main character.
Yes.
Like you do in
Like
an
you
anime.
did.
Time. I love it.
What a time.
I'm trash, but I love it.
Listen, it's great. I will give it a full endorsement as well.
Well, you did not disappoint, Raina, as I knew you would bring anime onto the show. But I had an anime as well. I'm very proud of myself.
I'm the only one who didn't bring anything animated,
Yeah.
even though everyone that I watched was in costumes.
That's true.
Ridiculous costumes.
I mean, that kind of sounds like it could be an anime.
I mean, it did originate in I don't want to say the country, but like an Eastern country.
Okay.
If you want to understand without having to fully invest in The Masked Singer, just go and look up. It's gonna spoil it for you, but you'll get the idea of it. Ryan Reynolds was on the original one at some point.
Overseas. Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And they just took that show and made it like an American version. So
Got it.
elaborate costumes, you know. So yeah, but I think they unmasked everybody at like the end.
Got
like
it.
I think they guessed and like, but yeah, but I mean you have to type in Ryan Reynolds to find it.
Okay.
I think it's called The King of Masked Singer anyway.
Moving on.
I know everything about this.
Moving on from The Masked Singer. Let's talking about our guest.
It's ruined my life.
As I said earlier, Raina Sinclair is one of my co-producers for Magical Girl Burlesque, but of course it is your brain baby. You more or less created the name of this troupe and the concept of this troupe.
Because I'm a fucking weeb.
With a performer who's now retired and Betty, who is currently still a producer. But what I wanted to ask you, since this is Screen Snark and it's a podcast about TV shows that influence us and movies that influence us, obviously the magical girl anime genre, and specifically Sailor Moon for sure, influenced the creation of Magical Girl Burlesque. And I wanted to know if you could speak to that a little bit about why, what to you in the magical girl genre and Sailor Moon exemplifies what you want this troupe to represent.
You want me to give the entire spiel in 10 minutes?
I mean, more or less, why did you gravitate to that beyond anything else? Because you're a fan of so many things. Why was it Magical Girl specifically and Sailor Moon that inspired you to create this kind of a troupe?
Well, okay, story time, kids. I mean, Storm knows this story, but you don't know this story.
Tell me.
So Sailor Moon was basically the first ever fandom that I was a part of.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 5 years old, my parents bought me a pair of Sailor Moon sneakers at Caldor's, R.I.P. And I was I was just enamored. I don't really remember what the sneakers were like, but I specifically remember like the sneaker box and like this picture of like 5 like girls in really badass poses. And like it was really the first sort of medium that I sort of felt represented by.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I didn't really grow up with DC or Marvel or any of that stuff, because that was like what the dudes liked, and like it was all macho, like, well, one, it was like super macho sort of like caricatures of what masculinity was supposed to be.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And it was like all of this like just like the fact that like you have to know all of this X-Men like history, and like it's never ending, and like it doesn't matter if somebody dies because they're gonna come back to life in the next series, and like so it didn't really appeal to me. And Sailor Moon appealed to me because it sort of was taking this idea of a superhero but specifically making it female, and making it about female empowerment, because like there are 10 Sailor Scouts, Sailor Senshi, and there's only one dude for most of the series.
Who's a lot of times a fuckboy. Like, if we're gonna...
I mean, not necessarily
He wants to bang his daughter from the future.
Well, not exactly. It's complicated. We don't talk about... we could talk about it, but it's a lot.
But anyway, I get it. Like, as someone who also grew up girl-shaped, the exclusionary nature of superheroes and stuff was definitely a thing. Like, I had a tendency to gravitate toward more like the Power Rangers, because it was like a mixed co-ed teen kind of deal.
Like, the
but
other
like
thing
I get
about
the aesthetic
Sailor
of.
Moon is that like it had like the earliest queer representation that I remembered, and like,
but they were cousins.
Now that like a lot of people like, also if you read the original manga, like there definitely like is a line where Sailor Uranus says like, I have both the characteristics of a boy and a girl. Like there is like a big part of the fandom that sees like Sailor Uranus as like one of the first representations of a non-binary character, even though the Deke fucked it all up for the rest of us. We don't talk about it, but anyway, yeah. So the idea, and then going from Sailor Moon, that led me to Clamp and all of their magical girl series like Cardcaptor Sakura and Magic Knight Rayearth, and like basically I liked the symbolism of a magical girl, not necessarily just for its gender, but because of like the idea of like it's taking something that you see, like that people see as ordinary, and like people always underestimate girls and stuff, and it's literally about the power of like people, and like them coming into their own and like taking on impossible odds.
Oh yeah, like Usagi's always been one of my favorite creations of all time, because literally in her like introduction across all timelines and all versions, she's like, I'm Usagi, I'm a crybaby, and she's like the protector of this planet. Like,
and then she like gets progressively more and more powerful, and like you see, like, you grow with these characters, and like unlike a lot of Western comics, like there is a lot of depth to each of the Sailor Senshi.
Oh yeah.
Like they were very fully fleshed out. Like even Tuxedo Mask, like a lot of people like hate on him because they kind of like ruined him in the original anime. But like in the manga, like you definitely get an idea of why he is the way he is. And like he's not, like he is still sort of the damsel in distress character, but for good reasons.
But that's very fun.
And he has like a whole angsty thing about it. And also I can bring this back because in 2014 they also rebooted the Sailor Moon anime
with Sailor Moon
Crystal,
which is very, very good. Also, the opening of that slaps. Thank you, Mamoru Clover's Head, for Moon Pride.
And the first movie is coming out next year.
Oh no!
It's gonna be a 2-part movie. The first one coming out September 11th, 2020.
I am very excited.
And it's the first Sailor Moon movie since 1995.
Damn.
Wow.
So I am fucking hype as shit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I see like the like the lead and the appeal and the idea, because it also like can appeal to the desire for nerdiness, you know, like you can get attached to something and really dig into it, and like why not build something out of something that you love, because like everybody's got their something, and everybody's going to gravitate to what they like, you know, like you watch us on this episode like freak out about Fruits Basket. You know, like.
And what I like about
communities, build them.
Well, no, yeah, and what's really great though about Magical Girl and being part of it is that even though we are a very nerdy troupe and we do a ton of nerdy shows, we're working on stuff that's also nerdy in different ways. Like we've done a lot of music themed shows, which other productions have done that, and we're not the only one. There are others, but because me and Raina are big music nerds, and Betty is for the most part as well. I think me and Raina are more vocally nerdy about music. It's a different way to explore, but it still falls under nerdy, which falls under Magical Girl. I think it's all one umbrella, which is really neat. Like in November, we're doing a kosher cabaret. It's an all Jewish review. All the performers are Jewish, and all of the music all the artists that we perform to are Jewish. I'm going to just host, but the general we. Which is really exciting to branch outside that stuff. Something I've been meaning to ask you, Raina, actually, is because you do such nerdy burlesque, but you also do some classic stuff as well. When you're watching new stuff, like for example this new show, the two shows you brought on today, do you ever watch those shows and just constantly think about the kinds of acts you can build, or do you get to just enjoy things without looking at through the lens of burlesque?
I mean, well, it depends on the show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I actually I didn't make any anime acts until just recently. Like I made an anime act based off Haruko Haruhara from FLCL, which is another thing from my childhood.
Yes.
And one of my childhood role models, as weird as that may sound. But yeah, like I don't know. I mean, I think because originally I didn't go into burlesque just doing cosplay burlesque.
Right.
I just was like, I have these nerdy concepts and I want to do it. And I sort of like started making more character-based things when people asked for it.
Got
or
it.
like things like I made like Marvel acts because everybody loves Marvel. And like I like wanted to, well, I specifically made a Jessica Jones act because I very much resonated with Jessica Jones.
I think
But,
a lot of
like-
it comes from a place of I empathize and connect with this, or I want to do a show because I connect with the concept.
Right,
Like most
sure.
of the acts that I've ever built were someone wrote on a thing and they were like, we want this property, and then I would just go, oh, I do that, like with that property.
Like I made,
Like a prompt almost.
Yeah, like I made the Morgan act from The Wicked and the Divine because I really loved that comic and I really liked the idea of it. Because I also joke that Kieran Gillian is basically an older British version of the dudes I dated in high school because of his music hipsterness and how like a good portion of his comics are about music.
Yeah.
And the love of music.
Well, yeah, but also with the Morgan specifically, that comes from a place of you built an act to represent that character. But like I didn't read Wicked and Divine till recently, and I loved that act before I read it because it translates a lot of what you're trying to convey without knowing the source material.
Yeah.
Which I think is really powerful, also.
Yeah, I think that's the sign of a really good number. Like I once saw two Philly-based performers who are not in rotation anymore do. What was that? It's a Wes. I'm gonna do this again. It was that Wes Anderson or the children.
Oh, I know
fall in
who.
love.
I know what you're talking about. Moonrise Kingdom.
Moonrise Kingdom.
And I know the two performers you're talking about. Yeah.
And I still to this day I've not seen Moonrise Kingdom, but I watched that act, and
It's very much a Wes Anderson film.
Oh, for sure. But like it like reaches across the understanding of the piece or the genre and like connected to like the empathy of it,
Yeah,
which I
for
think is
sure.
really great. You know, like I think that's really important when you make anything that is an homage or a tribute to something, like
Sure.
that it needs to stand on its own and it needs to be its own thing while still like drawing from.
Yeah. I mean, well, also, one of my problems is that I have too many ideas. And then I want to make acts to everything.
Well, yeah, but the good thing about that is that we've come up with some of the dumbest shows on the planet that have actually been successes because of my or your stupid ideas.
Also, spoiler alert for 2020. Well, this is a goal for myself. I don't know if I will reach it,
Put it out into the universe.
but I'm finally going to attempt to make a Sailor Moon act.
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome.
It's going to be a Sailor Saturn,
Amazing.
who, if nobody is familiar with Sailor Moon, is the goth one that can destroy planets.
Okay. Yeah,
Very
that's where it checks out. That's
so
awesome.
we're going to see if that works out.
Well, we'll check back with you in 2020 and find out.
We're going to try to make my dreams come true.
I think you can do. I believe in you.
Well, and it's also like we've talked back and forth about this, but like Magical Girl has never had a Magical Girl show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had an
So-
anime show.
We had an anime show. We
Which
finally
came up.
did that, but
I would host this to see. I'd want to I'm gonna let the gag out on here because if we do it, it'll still be funny. I want to host a Magical Girl show as Tuxedo Mask, but not actually host. I want to show up with someone dressed as Sailor Moon who they'll actually host, and I'll show up and go, my work here is done, and leave, and they can go, but you didn't do anything, and then host the show. Like,
love
I want that
that.
gag to happen on stage.
That's such a.
And I
good
already have a
gag.
top hat and a black suit. I just need the cape, really. So
Listen, if you need a Usagi for this bit,
I mean, your book.
also I feel like I have to mention this now, but yesterday was Sailor Venus's birthday.
Happy birthday, Sailor Venus, as of when we're recording.
the most marvelly character of them all. I love her.
Yes, I have memorized all the Sailor Senshi's birthday.
I'm
That's-
glad.
that's
I'm
amazing.
Glad.
All right. Well, this has been a blast, Raina. Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
on the
Raina.
show. We have one more task for you, but first
Yes.
we're going to get through our wrap up. So, Rachel, take us
right.
home.
First of all, thank you so much to John Presnell for the use of the song Aurora off the album Fair Game featuring Stefan Remble.
I also want to thank Katie Bug, who designed our incredible logo that we love very much.
Yes, and I would like to thank the Certain Point of View Podcast Network for allowing us yet another week to be here.
Yeah, we're in constant
unbelievably.
fear of being fired, even though I have more shows on this network than most people.
Yeah, but like then they might be like, well, we got to water down some of the Matt Storm, you know, and like.
I mean, I don't blame them. Like, there's a lot of me.
We're on the chopping block. I feel like we're always there. We're always 2 seconds away from being unmasked.
But you can go to certainpov.com to join our Discord. There's a permalink there, and join in the conversation about this show and other shows as well.
And you know what? I will come to the Discord server if people want to talk about the Masked Singer with me. I will do that. I will literally
post
do that.
and tag Rachel in it.
Yeah, just be like Masked Singer.
We're friends on Facebook, and if you just want to talk about Fruits Basket with me, we can also
Always.
just do that.
Always. Literally always.
But now it has come time for us to ask you, which we didn't prepare you for, the final question we asked our guests.
Never prepare anyone for this.
So I will let Rachel take us away.
So throughout the history of humans telling stories to one another via cave paintings,
The intro to this gets more and more pretentious every show.
every time to the epic cinematic events on the silver screen. Some things just stick around, you know, and become overused and overwrought to the point that they attain a status called a trope. Now, Raina, if you could choose any trope from movies or TV to instantly become true in your life, what trope would you choose?
I mean, I feel like we just had an entire talk about it.
Yes, I know, but like you gotta like put it in your life, make it real. How would you use it? Like,
I mean,
like if you wanted the montage, like what would you use that for? I'd use it for editing.
I mean, if I could just like kick the asses of all the misogynists and Nazis as a magical girl, that'd be fucking great.
All right,
Be
do
a
it.
magical girl.
All right.
Ordinary by day, extraordinary by sequence.
Transformation sequence.
Like you do it, and then you're like powerful, and you've got a cool scepter and shit. I love it.
I love it too. One of my favorite gifs, someone animated this, of Iron Man but getting dressed as a magical girl. Like his armor comes on as if he were Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
It's just the dumbest thing. Anyway.
Didn't that DC cartoon with like Wonder Woman and Supergirl and Batgirl, like it's really like funly animated? I think they made all of them have
yes.
magical girl style sequences, and like everyone else, because they're like super powered, like Green Lantern, like magically with the power of will, and then like Batgirl's like snap with her gloves and her belt, and I love it. It's very good.
Yeah, I forget what the show's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's an excellent trope.
Yes,
Good choice,
Good
Raina.
trope for sure.
Thank you for being on the show. We're very excited to have you here. This was a blast, and you filled in last minute, so I appreciate you being available. Yeah. I guess that's it. We're done.
Did you want me to plug things?
Oh, yes.
plugs,
Of course, please.
plugs,
Yes.
plugs.
This will air the Monday after when we're recording. So if you have shows coming up that you want to plug, of course, I'll plug. Our Kosher Cabaret is going to be on November 30th.
Yes.
At the Nest in Brooklyn. More details to come, but you can check the Magical Girl Burlesque Facebook page for more details on that. Mm-hmm. Raina, plug other shit.
So on November 1st, so not actual Halloween, but the day after Halloween.
It's still spooky. Still spooky. Still valid.
Because that's when Friday is. I'm going to be part of an all black light burlesque show at a Halloween party.
Ooh.
It's going to be called Luminescence.
Cool.
It's going to be at St. Vitus Bar in Greenpoint.
Cool.
I know that I'm a Jew, but surprisingly, October, I did a lot of Christian-based acts. Like, I was a Catholic schoolgirl for our MCR show that turns into a demon.
Yeah.
And this time, I'm going to be sort of like a goth raver nun.
Nice.
That's gonna put UV like.
Listen, as a former Catholic, go for it.
It's gonna be to personal Jesus. So
There you go.
That's my bid for Halloween, and
Yeah,
this is the first Halloween show that I've ever been invited to. Even though it's on All Saints Day, not Halloween, but it still
Close
counts. God damn
Yeah.
it. What else am I doing? I am also doing the Kosher Cabaret. I'm going to do a artsy interpretation of my feelings about my dating life. to say anything.
I mean, if you're gonna pick a Jewish band to perform to, Say Anything is one of them. That's for sure.
That's a lot, and I love it. That's a lot.
I'm trying to think if I know of anything else.
Just drop your social media where
Yeah.
people can follow you. And,
yeah.
Like, they can
So I have a Facebook, which is just Raina Sinclair. You can also follow the Magical Girl Facebook and Instagram page, and I also have an Instagram, which is just Raina Sinclair 28. The number's 28.
Love it. Very good. But yeah, so that's it for us. Thank you so much for listening to our show. Thank you, Matt Storm.
Thank you, Rachel Schenk. This has been a blast as always. We will see you at the movies or on a couch somewhere. Bye-bye.
Aurora, 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 Aurora. Metal to magnet, she will be mine. Aurora.
So I do want to say this before we go. There
I
is...
just did the closing.
Yeah, I know. This is going at the stinger.
Oh.
I do want to say, now that we're done, there is literally an Instagram video of me from my old job where I was wearing a Sailor Scout dress under my work dress, and I got the tech people to play the Sailor Moon music, and I shouted "Moon Prism Power," and I started spinning in a circle, and I unzipped my dress. So I do technically have a Sailor Moon striptease. It just was 30 seconds and garbage, but the feeling's there. The feeling's there.
Noted. I've learned so much about my co-host today.
Yeah.
I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the effort.
Thank you. And thank you. Bye.